Welcome back to Slack Signal X. Tonight, the lost art of the mixtape. There was an era when music wasn't a disposable click, but a deliberate act of creation. Mixtapes. They weren't just random compilations. They were love letters, manifestos, and archives of who we were and what was happening in our lives. I remember the click of a cassette sliding into a battered Walkman, the hiss of the tape as it started its journey. Tonight we're honoring an art form that was once our secret language, a language of analog hearts and the rise of a digital world. But before we begin, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, and don't be a poser. 1. Curation. Creating a mixtape was a ritual. It began in dim record stores where the scent of vinyl and paper mingled with possibility. You'd scour through racks of albums and secondhand cassettes, hunting for that perfect track. But it wasn't just about the songs. It was about the story you built, the transitions, the energy, the moments of silence that spoke louder than words. Every mixtape was a carefully arranged narrative, a personal collage of sound and sentiment. The very act of pressing record was an act of rebellion, a refusal to let music be reduced to an algorithmically generated playlist. It was slow, intentional, and imbued with a raw honesty that today's world often forgets. 2. Love letters. For many of us, a mixtape was more than a collection of songs. It was a declaration. When you handed someone a tape, it wasn't just a mix of tracks. It was a handwritten note, a secret confession. Every song was chosen to say, "This is me, this is what moves me." In that moment, the mixtape became a personal conversation. One that bridged the gap between hearts with nothing but music and a little bit of risk. I recall a friend's first love. He spent days selecting songs that painted the picture of his admiration, a sonic diary of awkward glances and late-night hopes. In that envelope, wrapped in a handwritten label, lay not just music, but a vulnerability, a stark contrast to the cold immediacy of today's texts and emojis. 3. It's the soundtrack of rebellion. We were the kids with the sneer, the ones who found comfort in punk's raw defiance and alternative music's unpolished truth. Mixtapes carried the heartbeat of rebellion. They weren't polished radio hits. They were the distorted guitar riffs, the underground tracks that spoke truth to power. These were our anthems, the gritty soundtracks for a generation that refused to be molded. Every track on a mixtape was a middle finger to the corporate cookie-cutter music industry. It was the art of making your own rules, of creating a narrative that was as messy and brilliant as life itself. The mixtape was our safe space, a sanctuary where the outcasts, the rebels, and the dreamers could speak their minds without compromise. 4. The aesthetics. There's something undeniably poetic about holding a cassette in your hands. The cover art was often handmade, sometimes a riot of collage, handwritten sketches, or cut-out images from magazines. It was a statement. It wasn't just a packaging, it was a canvas of personality. The faded ink on the label, the creases on the paper, even the smell of the plastic cassette, it all added layers of meaning. These weren't mass-produced commodities. They were art objects in their own right. The cover told its own story, a teaser to the emotional journey that was inside. It invited you to look closer, to see the care and passion behind every tape memory. In our analog world, every imperfection was a badge of authenticity. It was a reminder that, beauty often lies in these handcrafted, unique, and raw objects. 5. We let it die. As the digital age advanced, the intimate craft of the mixtape was slowly consigned to memory. Music became a relentless stream of data, available instantly, endlessly reproducible. In our race toward convenience, the art of slow curation and tactile intimacy was totally left behind. The tangible connection, the feeling of a tape's weight, the excitement of flipping through a hand-drawn cover was traded for cold and personal pixels. It's a bittersweet legacy. Sure, we now have access to every song ever made, but we've lost the art of anticipation. The mixtape's deliberate pacing, its subtle pauses, its sense of mystery. These were casualties of a world that now craves instant gratification. We let it die, not with a violent crash, but with the quiet hum of progress. 6. Reclaim the spirit. Yet, even as we live in this digital rush, the spirit of the mixtape lingers. It's in every carefully crafted playlist, every song shared with intent rather than accident. We can honor that legacy, not by clinging to outdated technology, but by remembering what made it special. The art of connection, the beauty of the imperfect, and the courage to express ourselves without apology. Next time you press play, try to remember that the hands that crafted that mixtape, the art that adorned its cover, and the raw passion that went into every track, let that memory spark a little rebellion in your heart. A reminder that sometimes taking the time to curate your own story is the most radical act of all. 7. Legacy. So here we are, at the crossroads of past and future. The mixtape was more than just a medium. It was a living, breathing testament to a generation that valued authenticity over ease, substance over speed. Even if the physical tape is faded, its echo still reverberates in underground punk clubs, in weird, crazy indie music. We may have let the art of the mixtape die in its original form, but the idea lives on in every act of creative defiance. Every moment when we choose genuine expression over convenience. Let this be a reminder that true art, whether on tapes, vinyl records, or in the hearts of young lovers, never truly dies. This has been Slack Signal X.